How's it going, gearheads? This is Caleb with Gear Report, and I wanted to introduce you guys to a bipod that I've been reviewing for the past couple of months, let you know what I like about it, some of the things you should be aware of. There's not a whole lot of dislikes, so I'll go ahead and give you the heads up there, but there are some things you need to know before you decide to purchase it. This is the Accu-Tac SR-5 QD bipod. There's a lot of features that are packed into this bipod. It is definitely one of the most stable. I compared it to 3 other bipods that I have in my stable, I guess you could say, and both me and my brother-in-law tested it, and we found it to be the most stable by far compared to a few other big name brands that you would definitely know of. I really enjoy it. So a quick rundown of some of the specs. It has a QD attachment, so that means it's going to attach to any Picatinny rail. Now, if you've spent enough time around different manufacturers, Picatinny rails can be out of spec. So there is an adjustment on there so that it can fit it no matter what, whether it's off a couple thousandths, 10 thousandths, whatever, you can make it fit. And the clamp is nice and smooth and very easy. So right here, this is your QD clamp. Pop it on. Boom, pop it back on, pop it off, pop it on. Very simple, very easy. Right here, this is your cant adjustment on the back. You can see right there, it allows you to do cant. Now, it does not allow you to pan. It has no pan feature, but I can live without that. I haven't found a need for it yet in the shooting that I've done. Right here at the bottom, these are your height adjustments. So you crank them out, they automatically click. Then if you need to bring it in, boom, there you go. Same on both sides. And then if you'd like to adjust the angle, right here, you push in, pull out, and it rotates into place. So that's the basic operations of the bipod. It's very simple. No directions come with the bipod, but you shouldn't really need them as long as you've got some common sense. If you don't have common sense, it's probably not the best thing to be handling firearms to begin with. So technical specs, quick rundown. It is 6061 T6 aluminum. It comes with 5 different height position settings. The weight is 20 ounces, and I'll address that weight later. There is, again, the right to left cant ability, and it goes from 6 1/4 or 6.25 inches to 9.25 inches, so you can get enough height. And you can get enough height to clear a 30-round magazine if you needed to, if you're using it on an AR. If you're using this on a bolt gun, you will have more than enough height, but this SR-5 model is perfectly capable of being used on an AR-15 with a 30-round magazine with no issue. I just have the 10-round magazine in it today because this is one of my hunting rifles, but again, 30 rounds will fit in it, no problem. So as far as testing goes, what did I shoot on the gun? What did I use? I used it on both an AR-10, a Palmetto State Armory PA-65, which is chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor, as well as this rifle you see here. I shot it from the prone, I've shot it from a tabletop, and it was repeatably steady, repeatably reliable. The adjustment screws never slipped. It didn't do anything I didn't ask it to. Let me put it that way. If I wanted it at an angle, I'd put it at an angle, and it stayed there. And that's what you get when you pay for the quality bipod that you get in Accu-Tac. So that kind of brings me what you pay for. You are going to pay for the Accu-Tac bipod. It is not a sub-$100 bipod. It's not your Caldwells or Harris's, which are great bipods for their purpose, but this is a top-tier bipod without a doubt, which is why it's so sturdy, which is why it's so beefy and well built. It's very easy to install. The adjustments are very positive, they're very intuitive, and they're very simple. So these are all things I like about the bipod. I really enjoy shooting with it. There are some cons, things to be aware of. Number one, it's expensive. You're looking at around 300 bucks. This is actually the Gen 1. The Gen 2 model has the cant adjustment here on the back instead of on the bottom. That's really only the major difference. The price difference is minimal between the two. Both are going to be right around that $300 range. And the second con thing you should be aware of, it's heavy, okay? But if you're shooting precision rifle, if you're shooting long range, if you're doing the type of shooting that typically involves a bipod, weight is not always a big concern because you're not hiking up and down mountains and all over the place. You're typically either shooting a PRS match or shooting from a bench rest. It just depends on your needs. And there are helicopters in the background. As a side note, we're at the Denton Military Vehicle and Gun Show, so you may hear some helicopters in the background, but we're doing this sort of live, one take, raw dog style, so we'll let them do their thing. The last con slash issue I wanted to make you aware of, which isn't really a con, it's a design feature, but just so you know, right here, your feet, they come loose fairly easily. So if you get the feet that you want, and I'll get to that in a second, you could totally blue Loctite it and not have that issue, but just check those if you pick one up and choose to use it heavily, because it really just, you can only get it hand tight and it can work loose. And I have been out shooting and noticed that there was a couple rotations before it would have actually come out. So pay attention to that. And that really kind of brings me to the end of my cons. The last thing I wanted to point out, which kind of ties into that last con I mentioned about the loosening feet, is the accessories that you have. Let's say you're shooting in sandy soil. Let's say you have different shooting conditions going on, shooting on rocky soil, rocky gravel, whatever it might be. You can attach these different feet, which is why they screw out so easily. So you can adjust them to fit your shooting terrain. So con, pro, however you want to see it. Just be aware of it, okay? They do sell the different feet options. Now, if you wanted to run this on your bolt gun, Accu-Tac has you covered there as well. They sell a kit, which is a sling stud adapter. I don't want to take it out of the bag because it does contain a small pin. I don't want to lose it, but this goes over your sling adapter. You put the pin through, you put the locking plate on, or the mounting plate, then you put your locking nut, and now you can easily adapt the SR-5 QD, which mounts to Picatinny, to your bolt gun. So they've got you covered no matter how you want to use it, what weapon platform, if you want to use that word, weapon platform, or whatever rifle you'd like to use it on. Accu-Tac has you covered. I've enjoyed the bipod. I know I'll get years of use out of it because it's a hardcore, very well built bipod and has served me very well. If I had to give it a gears rating, I would absolutely put this up there at a 4.5. Yes, it's expensive, but you get what you pay for. I've used cheaper bipods. This is not one of them, and this is worth the money if you have the need for it. If you're just a hobbyist, occasional shooter, there's definitely more affordable options, but if you have the budget and you need the most stable bipod you can get, definitely take a look at Accu-Tac. There will be a written review for you to get some of the more of the detailed nuances of the bipod itself, a little bit more of my shooting experience with it. So be sure to check us out at Gear-Report.com. Take care, folks.